Hello everyone. We are discussing with the clinical immunology. In previous two videos, basic of clinical immunology as well as one method, that is serotyping, was discussed. Now, in this video, we are going to discuss about agglutination. Now, what is agglutination? Agglutination is nothing but a reaction between antigen and antibody, and here the antigen which react with the antibody are special type. These antigens are insoluble or particulate antigen. So when there is a interaction between any particulate or insoluble antigen with the antibody is there, they results into that interaction result into visible clumping, and this clumping is called as agglutination. I repeat, antibody is reacting with antigen. These antigens are insoluble antigens, and their reaction results into a clump. This clumping is called as agglutination. Okay. This particulate antigen usually involved bacteria, WBC, RBC, or any latex particle. Okay. So as you can see here, there is a reaction between this antibody and antigen that results into the visible clumping, and this is called as a agglutination. This agglutination is very common in case of blood grouping. Sorry. Now, whenever any microorganisms enter inside the body, on their surface of microorganism there will be antigens. This antigen will react with the antibody, and ultimately they will form the visible clumping. This is a visible clumping. This is called as agglutination. There is various type of agglutination. One of the type is latex agglutination. Here in agglutination, the antibodies and antigens, as it is well explained in this diagram, that antibody to be analyzed is attached with the one particle that is called as latex particle. It is attached to the latex beads, so that on a single latex bead a multiple antibodies are bound. These antibodies, when react with the antigen, they will form a clump, and this is called as a latex agglutination. Why this is very important, or this having advantage over simple agglutination? If the antigen is in very minute quantity, in this case when these antibodies are connected with this latex particle, and cluster of the antibody will be available to react with the antigen, so that the clumping which will be observed will be in large size, and it can be easy to observe. So only one modification is there in latex agglutination, that antibodies are attached to the latex particle. Okay, rest remains same. Next is heme agglutination. In heme agglutination, mostly viral heme agglutination is observed, in that certain viruses are there. When this virus is infect the host, they will combine with the red blood cell and they form this clump. This clump is called as heme agglutination, right? It is due to the reaction of virus with the red blood cell, right, and that result into the clumping of these RBCs. For detection of the listed viral disease, this heme agglutination method is used. Apart from viral detection, these agglutination methods are useful. What are the various few examples of use of this agglutination method? So for detection of mycoplasmas, this method is used. Usually, as I have discussed in introductory part of the clinical immunology, that these tests are rapid. The methods which are used in clinical immunology are rapid and it gives instant result compared to the cultural identification. Same concept explains here. When there is an infection with the mycoplasma, it it is that mycoplasmas are not easy to cultivate. For cultivation of mycoplasma, about 30 days long delay will be there. So this slow growing, due to this nature of slow growing microorganism, it will be very serious if we go for the cultural identification. So the option is the agglutination method. Through agglutination method, the antigen antibody will react and they will instantly diagnose that the person is suffering from the mycoplasma infection. Same is observed with the fungal infection as well as yeast infection. It is considered that if you are using agglutination test for the yeast infection, we need to confirm it through the morphological identification also. Then we should come to the conclusion that whether that particular person is suffering from yeast infection or not. So for yeast, mycoplasma and fungal, this method is very useful for the identification purpose. Now, these topics like in application part, mycoplasma detection, fungal serology detection, yeast detection, this is called as a qualitative detection. But apart from this qualitative detection, agglutination test is also used for the quantitative detection. To measure the antibody titer, this agglutination test is used. Most commonly used agglutination test for quantitative detection, that is called as to detect the antibody titer, is for Vidal, right? In this experiment, specific set of tubes are used. In specific set of tubes, a proper amount of buffer is added, then antigen in a same quantity will be added, then in serum is serially diluted. Serial dilution of the serum is done and agglutination is observed, right? The last tube showing agglutination will be considered as a antibody titer. So you can predict the quantitative, that at how much extent the infection is there, that we can detect. Apart from this tube test, it can also be performed in the microvalve. Same procedure will be there, just a clumping is observed, right? Serial dilution is done, each tube, and the turbidity is that agglutination is observed, right? So this is the agglutination test, which is one of the rapid method to detect any particular disease. Just antigen and antibody reaction is observed. If there is certain infection, there must be antibody against that infection. So either we can detect antigen or we can detect antibody from the serum, and we can go for the conclusion that particular person is suffering from so and so disease. Hopefully in this short video you able to understand the agglutination. If you understand it, please like the video, share the video, subscribe the channel and press the bell icon, because when a new video will be uploaded, you will get the notification. And in this clinical immunology series, we are going to upload 8 to 10 videos within a short span of the time. Okay, thank you. If you have any doubt, you can ask that in a comment.